If you really feel that you should do this, you should try. I started this journey of natural skincare maybe 7 years ago. I was buying soaps from a friend and she told me that I better show you how to make it. So she showed me the basics. And then I went home and I opened the kitchen cupboard and I was like, so what could I use to color them? And then I started to dive into like, okay, so I can make soaps, but I can make this, I can make that. At that time I was living in Chile, so I looked for some small courses. I learned like the very, very basic of how to make a cream, but it was like so basic and I wanted to be so natural that you had to put it in the fridge and stuff like that. And then 5 years ago, I moved to Mexico and I got this idea that I want to change completely and I'm going to set up my business and do that. But at that time, there were very few things I could make. But I made a brand. It's called Sayab, which is in Maya means the source of life. And slowly I was learning how to make more and more products. I was looking for courses because I knew that there's so much information out there. It's really difficult to filter what is right, what is not. Even though I don't like structure so much, but I felt that I needed a structured information and something that I can trust. Started in another school first, but that didn't really work out for me. And then I found School of Natural Skincare. I did some of these free courses that they offer. And then I enrolled into the Diploma of Natural Skincare. I really liked how it's structured. I find that it's really practical and the information is really clear, understandable. And also, since I already had my brand, but I was struggling a little bit with the business vision. So it was really, really helpful. And to bear in mind that, okay, you can play like formulating for yourself, but if you want to do it for sale, you should always like keep the steps, like why am I doing it, who am I doing it for, and stuff like that. So it was really, really helpful. What I also really like is that when I created my brand, I wanted to make it vegan, free of cruelty, of course, natural, like not using any synthetic ingredients. The course helped me a lot to polish formulas. For example, when I learned to make cream, an emulsion, it was very, very basic because I had this idea that it has to be natural. Nothing that is like difficult to read can be involved. And then I learned that you can make it like that, but then you might have to put it in the fridge. So if you want to put it for sale, that's not going to work. So that was very helpful to learn that actually there are ingredients with funny names that are permitted and they are very useful. Then I also learned about product types that I never even knew that they existed. But yeah, that was where I learned a lot of things. Some of the values that are very important to me, apart from vegan and natural, it's zero waste. Actually, first, when I had this idea to have my own brand, I was only making soaps and shampoo bars. So I was like, it was a perfect start for zero waste products. And also, like living here in the Caribbean, I'm quite obsessed with recycling and the rubbish and everything. That's why I thought that the least packaging possible whenever I use packaging, because I do have to sometimes. It has to be recyclable. I try to make a fusion of cosmetics and herbalism. So I use herbs in each of my products. I feel that I gained a lot of confidence during the course. It taught me how to focus on things. Like oftentimes I'm like, oh, I get this ingredient and like I want to make this and I just jump into it and like and I do it. But now I try to like always sit down and like say, okay, just like try to think first that, okay, why am I doing that? To focus. If it was only a hobby, it would be a different thing. But since November, this is my main only source of income. So this is really my business. I know that I have to be focused and structured. So yeah, it really helped me with that. It's really beautiful when I start and then like different things come out, like make different creams, and according to like oils and extracts and stuff that I mix in, then it comes out one black, one orange, one pink, and like I don't know, it's really beautiful. And also I'm just traveling home in 2 days. I always bring gifts to my parents and to my friends, and since I started to make my own products, I give them my products, and it's really nice to be able to make. And then when I give them, it looks something that comes out of a store, which is actually true because they are in stores. I think I feel quite proud of myself. If I look at where I started it from, like the whole design was like really basic and the packaging was really basic. And where I got now, it's like there's a huge difference. And now if I look at my shelf with my products, I'm like, it's nice. I go to a lot of markets to sell also, and then people come that, oh, your stand is really nice. If you have the goal to do this, you should try. And I know that sometimes there are difficulties, or sometimes there are some obstacles. But if you really feel that you should do this, you should try. It's really not expensive to make a small production. And these days, it's so easy to design your own labels and then just print them out to go to a local market. You know, like you can start it in like very small, try it out to see how it works, and maybe you can go to the next step. My brand is called Sayab, which means in Maya, the source of life. Since I live in Mexico, in Mayan land, I wanted to give like a local name to it. And I think it represents really what it stands for. My vision was to make a fusion of cosmetics and herbs. So what I do is I include herbs in some forms in each of the products, whether it's in powder, in the soaps, in the shampoo bars, or an infusion in oils. For example, this is how it looks like. These are two facial oils. They all use, as I said, local herbs. And what I also try to focus on, it's not just like what herbs are used here, but what the energetic background is. For example, this one is called Divine Connection because it uses a tree that is, according to the Mayan mythology, it's a sacred tree for the Mayas, and it connects the three words. And it also uses copal, which is a resin, and it's used for energy cleansing. And then this one is called Mayan Magic because it uses tepescoite. I think it's one of my newest products, which is an after sun lotion. It's very, very useful here. There are a lot of burned tourists. So I live in a village here in the Caribbean, and I started it here in a store, mainly in vegan stores. Then I go to the markets as well, which I really enjoy because there's like a direct contact with people. And sometimes by now, after some months, people come back and like, oh, I use your products. I bought them in a shop. And I also have my website that I launched like a year ago. This is the part that needs a bit more push. But this is because I found that when you do everything, like it's like a one person company, let's say. So I'm doing really, really everything with a little bit of help sometimes with the design. But online publicity, like Instagram, like how to get more followers and all these things are what I need to work on. the idea is to target like conscious people. So I think it's more like a niche. That's why I'm saying that conscious people. But yeah, like I would say that people who care about plants and that it's important for them not to buy something that comes in plastic. The people who buy my products are really mixed because on the one hand, I have them in vegan stores, but then I have a person who sells my products in hotels, in hotel markets, like a five-star hotels. So that kind of ambience is totally different. I think that maybe at the beginning I didn't trust myself so much that this could be like a real thing, like I really could live from that. And now that I realize that I see that actually it's happening, now I see more like a realistic thing that there could be a chance. So my vision for the future is, I think, to try to connect more to the online world. I think it's gonna be a big challenge for me to like appear like on Instagram like me, because I know that I have to represent my brand. But I think, yeah, that would be the next step. That's what I'm projecting for the future, to conquer the online world.